To the home stretch of the contract, things are getting a little bit easier here. Fewer things to click and fill out. Reminder, of course, I forgot to mention initial date and time. The bottom, if you're wet signing or if you're e-signing, the date and time will automatically come when you send it through the e-signature program. Of course, address on the top of page 5. This paragraph states that if there's any warranties, they will transfer to the new buyer, and if there's any fees to transfer those warranties, that will be at the expense of the buyer. 226, this is the title conveyance paragraph that states that the seller is going to provide a general warranty deed. So all liens against the seller are going to be paid at closing, and that the buyer is not inheriting a defective title where there's going to be city liens or tax liens or just any unpaid monies. That's all going to be taken care of at closing so the buyer can move in without any problem. Now, owner's title insurance policy is always highly recommended. It is a one-time fee, and it's part of the closing costs, and it literally covers the buyer forever. So if some sort of lien is missed or some sort of issue in the chain of title, this policy will protect them from having to pay any outstanding or any legal fees that might come as a result of that defective title. So always, always, always encourage owner's titles insurance. In fact, I just kind of gloss right over the option for them to opt out because it's not really a wise choice to do so. If you are buying a property within Jefferson County, there is a smoke detector ordinance in place. So what that means is if you're buying anything in Louisville, then the seller signs a document at closing that states that there are smoke detectors in the home that are either hardwired or have 10-year lithium batteries in place. If the property is outside of Jefferson County, this does not apply. And of course, make sure that when you are talking to your seller clients and presenting these offers, that they are aware that they need to comply with this ordinance and they will be required to sign this document. So prepare them to either A, buy new smoke detectors if they are not hardwired or don't have new batteries, B, buy new batteries, or C, check to make sure that they are hardwired. If you are buying a condo, then this paragraph would apply to you. It says that you have the right to receive all of the condo documents, bylaws, financial statements, seller certificate, things like that, to make sure that this association is on the up and up and there's not upside down in their HOA fund. Also to make sure that you are okay with all the rules of the association, like especially check if your buyer has pets that are not of normal size. Not all associations allow dogs. Not all associations allow dogs over 20 pounds. So just make sure that it's a place that your buyer is comfortable living in and they get the right to review those documents before closing. The risk of loss paragraph states that the seller agrees to maintain their insurance, or if the property is damaged during this transaction period before closing, the seller will take care of that. So say a window gets broken, seller will replace the broken window. And it also says that if something substantial happens, like the house catches on fire and burns down, that the buyer doesn't have to buy a pile of ash anymore. The fair housing or the additional disclosure paragraph says that you've explained that there's no discrimination based on the protected class, or all protected classes rather. The consumer guide form, you've indicated that you've shared that consumer guide form that we talked about in a different video about how crucial that is to share. Commission is earned when buyer and seller agree on this contract. So once everybody says yes and yes, then you have earned your commission as an agent. And if either party defaults, then the agent can go after the defaulting party for their commission. Now, contingencies don't count as default. So if somebody terminates due to inspections within their inspection time frame, then that does not trigger anything with this paragraph. However, if your buyer just kind of disappears into the wind, you could go after them for your commission if they don't close. Notices must be delivered in writing, and it has to be delivered. So no verbal negotiations can take place. And if you say, hey, I've got an accepted offer, I'm sending it your way, and you never get it sent, you don't technically have an accepted offer. Or if you say, hey, I've accepted your offer, it's 11:59 on the 15th, and it gets delivered at 12:01 on the 16th, day one is the 17th. So just be aware of those time frames and make sure you remember that A, verbal negotiation is a big no-no, and B, acceptance includes signature and delivery to the other agent. The severability paragraph states that if you make an amendment to the contract, that now becomes the new term. So for instance, in our offer here, we have 2 days of delayed possession. However, if we decide that we no longer need delayed possession and we send over an addendum that says keys to be given at closing, that now becomes a new term. And make sure everyone initials dates and times at the bottom of the page.